These ambitious smartphones have a lot to offer to their users. On one hand, we have the Galaxy S4, which has a remarkable design, not in terms of appearance, but in terms of engineering achievements here. The handset is very, very light and feels surprisingly compact and comfortable to hold in the hand despite the large 5-inch screen. On the other hand, the Xperia Z also features a 5-inch display, but the device itself feels much bulkier thanks to its rectangular shape here. When it comes to looks, we can say that the Xperia Z has the more striking visuals out of the two, but when it comes to comfort, the Galaxy S4 easily takes the cake. As it's cool nowadays, both devices have 5-inch displays with full HD resolution. However, we tend to prefer the one on the Galaxy S4 a bit more because it has higher contrast, more vibrant colors, and better viewing angles. On the other hand, the Xperia Z here also has a terrific display, especially when viewing images or watching video, but its viewing angles are downright poor, and there is not much contrast really in this display. When it comes to details, though, both are very, very good. The Galaxy S4 has the pentile matrix arrangement, but it's much better than the early versions of this technology. So let's just say that it has an additional green subpixel to every pixel, and thanks to the very, very high pixel density here, you really won't notice. In the latest Android version, 4.2.2, the Xperia Z has Android 4.1. Not that without it, the manufacturer will eventually update it to the latest Jelly Bean version. But when it comes to user experiences, we do prefer the Galaxy S4 because we simply like TouchWiz Nature UX more. It has more features, it's more customizable. And even with this latest version of TouchWiz UX, the manufacturer has added even more goodies and all kinds of features. Not that all of them will be useful or very well made, but we still appreciate the variety we have with the Galaxy S4. On the other hand, we have one very well polished UI with the Xperia Z, although it's not super optimized. There are some slight slowdowns from time to time when using this interface, and overall it's just a bit shallow compared to what we have on the GS4 here. The Galaxy S4 has the benefit of featuring a newer processor. It comes with either with Snapdragon 600 or with Exynos 5 Octa, while the Sony Xperia Z has the Snapdragon S4 Pro chipset, which is a last generation processor, but it's still very, very capable, so you will rarely find any lag or issues like that. If you do encounter any lag, it will be thanks to Sony's custom user interface here, but when running applications, games, and such kind of stuff, you won't have any problems with the Xperia Z, and pretty much the same goes for the Galaxy S4. Both handsets ship with 2 GB of RAM, but the Galaxy S4 comes in 16, 32, and 64 GB of internal storage, plus a micro SD card slot, whereas the Xperia Z only comes in 16 GB units with micro SD card slot. We believe that the Galaxy S4 features a better internet browser. It's the custom Samsung browser, which is based on the code from Ice Cream Sandwich, simply because it's much more responsive compared to mobile version of Chrome that's found on the Xperia Z here. And in addition to that, Samsung's browser also supports Adobe Flash Player. We find the Galaxy S4 to take slightly better photos than the Xperia Z. Both handsets have 13 megapixel cameras, but the GS4 captures slightly sharper visuals without creating more noise along the way. Exposure and color reproduction seem to be quite similar on both, but as we said, the GS4 definitely has an advantage when it comes to details with its camera. Video recording is also very similar, but once again, the Galaxy S4 manages to be the better camcorder thanks to its more detailed video footage. The earpiece of the Sony Xperia Z tends to sound a bit better than the one of the Galaxy S4. In contrast, though, the microphone of the GS4 sounds a bit better than the one on the Sony Xperia Z, but all in all, both handsets do not sound very well. There is no doubt that the Xperia Z is one very impressive smartphone, but the Samsung Galaxy S4 seems to be the more appealing handset overall. Its design may not be anything to write home about, but it's compact and comfortable to hold, despite the presence of the large 5-inch display, which cannot be said about the Xperia Z. When it comes to features, the GS4 is better equipped thanks to the multitude of enhancements delivered by the TouchWiz Nature UX. Sony has definitely created one powerful device with the Xperia Z, but they'll just have to do a bit better than that if they want to challenge successfully the best in the industry. This was our comparison between the Galaxy S4 and Sony Xperia Z.